You're listening to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay. This is a program called
The Wonderful World of Wardini Books.
And as always, at this time of week, we have the wonderful Lou from Wardini Books in Havelock North. How you been, Lou?
Yeah, great.
That's good. Been selling heaps, getting ready for the silly season.
Yeah, it's getting busy now.
But you love it.
Yeah, I do.
Are you one of these persons that look forward to Christmas? It's like a build-up. I love the build-up.
Yeah, I love it. Our Christmas decks went up last night. I got home and my son had put everything up. Everything that sparkles or flashes in the house is out.
Do you like the kids doing it, or would you rather have done it yourself?
No, I like to just come home and it's done. It's great.
Good on you. 3 fabulous books to look at this week. And the first one is a kid's book, and it's called The Little Yellow Digger Who Saves Christmas.
I know. Look
at that.
There's Santa in The Little Yellow Digger. How exciting is that?
He's got his prezzies on the front.
He has. And there's a whole story behind this. So it's written by Peter Gilderdale, who I believe to be the son of Betty and Alan Gilderdale, who did the original Little Yellow Digger books, but they're dead. So Peter's taken on the mantle, and illustrated by Fifi Colston, who's a very well-known and well-respected New Zealand author and illustrator. So in this one, we have some kids, and they're doing a Christmas play, and the phone rings, and it's Santa, and he's stuck. Because we're in New Zealand, he's got a 4-wheel drive, hasn't he?
Yes.
And he's there with all his presents and things in the back on the mountain road. And there's a Kia. The Kia is an integral part of the story. Not through the words, but through the pictures, thanks to Fifi. So I've been driving to your school play, but I've had some awful luck. The mountainside came tumbling down and swallowed up my truck. So he's completely stuck. And the kids are all completely dejected. They're saying, like, well, how, why are you in a truck? Where's the reindeer? They've all got colds.
Oh, no.
And there's a rather marvellous illustration of Rudolph, who doesn't have a red nose. Rudolph has a green, slimy nose.
Oh, right.
And there's presumably Mrs. Christmas, Mother Christmas, giving chicken soup and carrots to Rudolph. So there's all sorts of, explanations of why he is in the truck on this mountainside road in Aotearoa, New Zealand. And the kids are so glum. They're like, he's not going to get to our play.
Good drawings, aren't they?
Brilliant drawings, yeah. And she's just got, I think, a really good representation of Kiwi kids there.
Absolutely.
And there's this little girl, the little yellow digger, is parking in our parking bay. The digger driver's daughter was helping with our play. So who gets in the truck but the digger driver's daughter? And there's the Kia, again, on the top, supervising.
Could you say that 10 times in a row?
Digger driver's daughter? Yeah. I don't know. Probably not. It's a good one. And then they all go chugging off down the mountain road. And you know what happens? They're gonna rescue Father Christmas, Santa, who's sat there looking quite grumpy in his.
And he's got his sunnies on.
In his sunnies on, because it is summer in New Zealand after all. So they dig him out and they sort out the truck. Actually, no, they don't sort out the truck. And there's the Kia looking quite worried about the whole thing. Because how's Santa going to get all the presents to all the kids or everybody, not just the children? Thank you very much.
Come to my place.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. On Christmas Day. So off it goes in the little yellow digger. And there is Christmas magic. The Kia's also in the digger. Because right at the end, how's he going to get around the world, Ken?
He's going to fly in this digger.
He's going to fly in the little yellow digger.
That's how it works. And there's a moorpork in there as well.
There's a moorpork in there. And there's the Kia, I think, is obviously going to be the new Rudolph.
And a Pahudakawa tree.
Yeah.
They're all in there.
It's Kiwi. It's Kiwi Christmas. The rhymes work. Thank you, Peter Gilderdale, because that's so hard to do. And it's beautifully illustrated by Fifi Colston.
And who's that going to appeal to? What
Me.
age? Yeah, you and me, yeah.
Oh, I think, if you're getting ready for Christmas and you want to see some, it must be quite hard for a 2-year-old. It's nearly Christmas, and they look outside and it's hot and the Pahudakawa's out and, all that kind of thing. And then you get all these snowy scenes and things, and they're not relevant, are they? So it's really lovely to have maybe a 2-year-old up until 6, 7-year-old, or whoever wants to sit round at Christmas and have a cool Christmas story and get all excited about it.
And it's a funny thing, we have a hot dinner on a hot day, don't we? We brought England with us.
Kinda, yeah, well, that's colonialism, isn't it? We can go way into that if you want to. But yeah, I mean, I eat ice cream in the winter. Yeah, I don't care.
Too right. Yorkshire pudding anytime. Damn right. And our next book is called The Perfume Thief. We're
away from Aotearoa, we're going to Paris. Who wouldn't want to go to Paris?
Love it.
But this is in the Second World War when the Nazis have occupied Paris. And the Perfume Thief her name is Clementine, and she is a reformed con artist. And she is always dressed in a manly fashion. So that's sort of, she's worried that that's actually going to draw her to the attention of the Nazis, who, you know, would look at somebody like that and put you in one of the homosexual camps.
Yes.
You know, we're just going to get rid of you because you don't conform with that Aryan stereotype. So Clementine thieved for rich people. She was really good at it from a young age. She came from a poor farming background and was quite different, didn't receive her mother's love as she should, and just went out into the world and did her own thing, fell in love, and became a perfumier. So she knows everything there is to know about scents and extracting scents from things and how you can retrieve memories. And we're in Paris in the Second World War with the Nazi occupation. And, you know, you can't go out after curfew, you can't go drinking, you can't go dancing, but the Nazis can, and they need people to dance for them. So it centres around this bordello, and there is a friend of Clem's called Day, she's a mixed-race girl in disguise as a white woman, because you don't want to be a mixed-race girl under the gaze of the Nazis. But she's a performer and a singer. And then there is this beautiful, beautiful, very well-known singer who is under the thumb of the Nazis, and she's being kept by a commander called Lutz, and he's trying to sort of keep her. He's in love with her, she's not in love with him, she's his prisoner. But her father was Jewish and has gone off to a Jewish camp. Nobody knows she's Jewish, and he was the top perfumer in Paris. And he had a diary, and he sent this secret message to his daughter to say, posing almost as one of her admirers, you know, with flowers, I write about you in my diary. And she's like, oh my God, I've got to find this diary before the Germans do, because they'll find out that I'm Jewish. So she hires Clementine, who is now in her 70s, she's 72, to try and find this diary before the Nazis do. And to do so, she has to go and sort of ingratiate herself with the Nazi, who is reselling things stolen from Jewish people. There's these quite awful scenes, really, where they've got like a department store for these rich Nazis that go in, and they'll buy like half bottles of very expensive perfume that used to belong to a Jewish person who has been shipped off to a camp, and little dolls that belong to the children, you know, and it's just absolutely heartbreaking. So you're absolutely immersed in Paris and in the underground of, it's almost collaboration with the Nazis, but what do you do if they're going to kill you?
Of course.
Yeah, and then the whole thing about the perfumes and the scents, and just thinking about the oils and hawthorn and what goes into absinthe, and it's decadent, and then there's also the side of it that Clementine is dressing in a manly fashion. She talks about her great love, M, a gentleman, M, who wasn't a gentleman, but posed as a gentleman, you know. So there's this sort of gender fluid community going on that's in great danger.
Now, you normally do bring in a couple of quite depressing books. Is this one of those books that's got a happy ending? It's
got the most beautiful relationships in it. So I think there's a lot of hope there. And there's also the sort of nods to resistance. Like, the characters are in danger all the time, but they're doing the right thing. They are trying very hard to sneakily do the things that they can to thwart the German intentions.
Is it based on fact, on things that did happen?
No, actually, I would imagine it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
It sounds like it could be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So out of 10, what would you give that book?
Oh, it's a good sort of 9 out of 10. It's fascinating. The characters are great. The dialogue's great. And it's glamorous as well. So it's got that kind of, oh, this is so exciting and thrilling and glamorous. I mean, no way would I have wanted to have been there in reality. But, yeah.
Now, your description of it and even the title might make me suggest that it's possibly a book that perhaps ladies might like more so than anyone. Is it a book that everyone's going to pick up and like, or is...
Yeah, I think anyone interested in the history of that era as well, or anyone interested in, I mean, it talks about couture quite a bit, and the perfume side of it, so that glamour of Paris, and I think that's not based on what gender you are.
No, of course. Yeah. All right, now the next one sounds like...
And it's written by a man.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Look at that,
So
who would have thought? The man who died. Well, you know, do you normally find that it to me, it sort of almost has a feminine description to it, the way you described it?
I suppose so. I don't know. Maybe that's because you're coming from your experience.
Yeah, I suppose.
But perhaps not Timothy Chaffert's.
No, The Man Who Died Twice sounds like a James Bond title.
Yeah, it does, and it's almost like a spoof Bond type of thing. So this is the second in a series of books by Richard Osman, the Thursday Murder Club Mysteries, and it's about we're in Cooper's Chase in the south of England, and it's a retirement village, and you have a group of people that come together to solve cold cases, murders, because Elizabeth is very, very shady in the first book. You don't really kind of know what's going on with Elizabeth and how she gets her intelligence, but basically she was a spy. She worked for MI5, MI6 for years and years and years, and she's still hard as nails and got the intelligence to figure things out. And with her is Joyce, who's an ex-nurse, and she's very savvy, but she's kind of like your typical old lady, and she bakes for them, and wears her card and is always looking for the gossip and flirting with flirting with the new gentlemen that come into Cooper's Chase. And then Ibrahim, who's a psychiatrist, and Ron, who's just like the dodgy geezer. so they're an absolutely brilliant troupe of investigators. And what's happening in the second book is that Elizabeth's living with her husband, Stephen, who is taking this quite gentle slide into dementia, and it's a rather beautiful love story between the two of them. But she's married before, and she gets this message from a man that she thought was dead, and she figures it out, and what's happening is her ex-husband from years ago, Douglas, is back on the scene, and he was a spy too, and is a spy. But he's kind of accidentally stolen like $2 million worth of diamonds from this like posh gangster's house, and so he's like, oh no, I haven't stolen them, So MI5 are protecting him, and he's going into hiding at Cooper's Chase in the retirement village because he's fairly elderly by now too. So it centres around this: did he steal the diamonds? Did he not steal the diamonds? There's the posh gangster who's after him, who's quite a sort of very well turned out, massive house, loves his garden. He's going to have an open garden, and he's worried about that and about the pruning and if the baking's correct, and but also about finding Douglas and killing him.
Yes. I love it.
And who else is on the scene? Then there's the American mafia, because the diamonds belong to them, so they're not happy with the posh English gangster. And there's all this stuff going on. And then there's the Thursday Murder Club, these elderly people who are figuring it all out because life's exciting for them. And then there's the coppers as well, Chris and Donna, the real police officers, who are good mates by now with the Thursday Murder Club, and sort of like they swing between like mildly irritated with them and absolutely in awe of their investigative powers. So it's just a great deal of fun. They're absolutely brilliant characters.
Page turner?
Yeah, real page turner.
And if we want any of these fabulous books, where do we get them?
Wardini Books, please. Thank you.
In Havelock North and Napier. As was my pleasure. You look after yourself. We'll talk at the same time, same place next week.
Great stuff. Thanks, Ken.